So pretty much the plan, I decided to make some traction bars for my truck instead of spending a whole bunch of money on them. So I bought a 10-foot long section of 1 1/4 inch black steel pipe. Cut it in half, so it's 60 inches each side. This is recommended for my truck. And then on one end, I took a 1 1/4 inch T-fitting for the one end, and I plan on cutting a coupling in half, welding it into there using a 3/4 inch to 1/2 inch reducer. And then I have some of the leftover fuel line from my AirDogs lift pump that I had gotten, and that ends up threading up nice into the inside of this. Well, it's a little bit tight, but once you get it going, it's nice. And then that'll give it a nice little rubber grommet type, or rubber, you know, for the bolt on the inside, so that doesn't wear out. This is all just kind of stuff sourced from the local Lowe's. So that'll go in there. This will be on the inside like so. It'll be welded. Each end will go in like that, and I'll thread it in and then tag it with little welds, and then the bolt will go straight through. I think it'll work out pretty well. And on the other end, I just grabbed a little short top link from the local Tractor Supply store, cut it in half, and it fits in perfectly in there, and I'll end up putting some rosette welds through there and then getting a nice bead around the outside. So I mean, it looks just like what it is, and I'll make some brackets and weld them up to the frame and weld them up to the get them hung up with leaf spring hangers, and I'm assuming for about $100 it should end up being as useful as something I would have spent like $700 on. So just a little bit of my time, and I mean, I find this kind of stuff fun anyways, so like it's enjoyable figuring stuff out in my head while I'm doing it, and then seeing it start to come together like that. So I'm just gonna be sitting here kind of grinding out on metal and getting stuff cleaned up for getting ready for welding and stuff, and I'll start putting them together. And then once I got that and I've got the length and everything and I got them all put together and figured out, I'll just put them up on the truck and kind of just figure out. I believe that it should come right at the bottom of where the frame angles down and then it goes flat. So I'll probably make a little wedge hanger to like hang down on there, but I'm really just gonna wing it and see what happens, and kind of just you know, make it when I see it there, because I won't really have the hanger fully figured out until I know exactly where it's gonna be hanging and where it's gonna go. So that's pretty much the only thing I still have left to figure out, and I mean, as soon as I get it there, it'll be good. That was a spur of the moment decision, but I felt like it might a little bit Might end up making the transition look a little bit smoother when I end up making that wall bead there. The only thing I gotta worry about is making sure that's centered, but it's pretty tight on. But yeah, that should smooth out that a little bit so it just doesn't drop straight down onto it. I'm probably gonna run on the inside with my drum sander, whatever the heck it is. I got just over an inch size on that thing, so you should be able to set it right down on it flat, and it'll make it flush right on the inside. Get rid of the weld bead in there. But I don't know. That seems like that's probably a good idea. Check and see if that was actually worthwhile. I mean, this edge is still, I cut it with a sawzall, hacksaw, whatever. So it's not the smoothest cut. It wasn't done on my chop saw. But yeah, I think that most definitely looks a million times better right there than just a sharp edge. That'll work out well. Perfect. I have a feeling that this edge isn't fully straight, so I think I'll grab this quick. Actually, that's pretty freaking straight. A lot better than I thought it was. There's just a snake ridge right there through here. It's just that one area right here. They didn't match. I should have marked on the inside where to grind to. But, I mean, it's a little bit longer, it looks like, but I think that's salvageable. picture this quick here. Okay, so that'll weld right in there. Just make sure it's flush when I do it. And I'll probably just throw a magnet on there to hold it in place. I got some little tiny, I got a little 1-inch clamp I could just actually throw right in there and hold it right against the wall, so that'll work out. So if I did that, I think I can only thread in the tubing to right there. And okay, that's perfect. I can cut each piece of tubing to 3 inches exactly because it'll line up right on the edge of this. So that works out perfectly. That just means that I need to make the bracket. I guess I could put this in further though too and weld it, but I like how it looks just sitting there right on the edge. These two line up pretty well. So that would be about 1/4 of an inch. I'll check it with my caliper later on, but actually I can just check it here. I've got it out here. 266, so, and I'm sure it's probably just a slight bit. Yeah. 1/4 of an inch. So I'll make the bracket for it. The outsides of the bracket will be 3.5 inches then. So I got 4 inch by 6 inch is what I was gonna make the tie plates out of. Piece of 1/4 inch, 4 foot by 1 foot, or 4 inch by 1 foot steel there for that. And then for like the hangers to hold the heim joint in this little doodad that I'm kind of crafting up, I got 3/16 inch by 2 inch bar stock steel that I was just gonna cut off hunks of it, drill the 1/2 inch with my step drill, and weld them on. They'll be welded onto this for the back, for the rear, which is, in my mind, this is the vision that I had. This is the part that goes into the rear, so that'll end up being welded right onto the tie plate. Let me get my things, my bolts in there and there. I'll mark them out more precisely then. And then this will be hung off of here. I would imagine about that high. So that actually works out perfectly because I think with both sides in, I can just weld straight off of the side of here, and then I'll put some gussets on the back end to support it a little bit and keep it from flexing in and out. So I think that's gonna go crazy. I think that's gonna work. I was so confused. I thought this was cast for a while until because it was with the black iron stuff and it looked like cast. I'm like, why the heck would they have cast over here? But it is actually the black iron stuff. So, and it even said so on the packaging. I was like, I had to look, so I was like, that looks like cast, but it's not. But yeah, I am very happy seeing this starting to come together. Sorry, I got ADHD. I'm all over the place sometimes, so. But we'll get her done. And it'll just sometimes it takes me a little while to get going in the day. I'm sorry, I totally ended up spacing it out, but I just threw this on my little desk thing and was going to put some tags in, and then I just ended up kind of going around the whole thing. It's gotta get cleaned up, but that's kind of what the plan was to have that in there opposite that. That was nasty. That's why you always turn off. Good Lord. I'm actually extremely surprised that that even was arcing, let alone, I mean, the fact that that's metal and I've got myself for this and it didn't just burn right through. Whew. Freaking welders are scary sometimes and think about all the power they got in them.
Yeah, fill her in.
the start there, you can see where it wasn't pushing enough metal in. So I'm just gonna run right around there quick. Actually, I'm gonna go and do some things first.
Look away for 1 second. I got this thing in place and I need to. One more and I'll be good.
Okay. I should be set. Well, I can tell that's got heat penetration all the way through there, so I'm happy with that. I mean, it's not the prettiest welds I've ever done, but like I've said earlier, I used to weld a lot when I was in high school. Well, not a lot. I had a couple years of metal class when I was in high school, and I enjoyed it, but I only ever did stick welding. So I bought this, and this is like literally my third little project I've done. I fixed my transmission cross member, my partner's door for their Suburban, the hinge mechanism had broken, busted up, and I think just also from like opening the door and letting it kind of like slam open or like swing open, where the mount is actually broken. Like it was cracked along the top, or one side, bottom, and the other side. Like it was just one side of the metal was holding it in. So I used it for that as well, which is a little bit, I mean, that stuff is pretty thin metal to begin with, so I had to really, I learned a lot better on how to use wire feed at that point, because it's a lot less forgiving when you've got, say, like 20-some gauge steel. Anyways, sorry for rambling again. I'm gonna do this here again and see if I can't get it to not pop. Feeling in the position there with messed up. single time something happens, I find. Alright, I'm confident in that molding. Now for the other side. And now that that's done, I will be moving this table slightly, apparently. I'll be putting on a bead around the outside here to seal up the tubing then. I know that those rosettes hold pretty well from what I was testing the other day, but I mean, this is just solid then. Okay. I think with this one, I'm probably just gonna go around on the outside and do it in bits like this instead of rotating. Yeah. It literally died right at that last little beat. But I'm gonna build my little tie plates and little arms hanging down from it for the hangers for the rear, and then I'll make the front brackets as well, the front hangers as well. But I'm working on the rear one right now. I'm gonna cut this piece of 4x6 inch steel, and I already pretty much marked out where the lines would be. I just want to make the cut so I can mark this inside line properly. The outside lines are all marked where they should be. So I'll have looks like a drill point right there, a drill point right there, and then somewhere right in here as well, which is a little close to the edge. They're 5/8, but it'll leave enough there for it to be nice and solid. So I just finished scoring up my pie plates so that they're flush on the edges, so that when I'm making my measurements, then I can oh my God, I can't think right now. Oh yes, and I measure for where these tabs are going to go to hold in the back ends, like the shackle type thing, whatever. I can't even think of what it's called for the life of me, and it's just been like that for the last day. So yeah, then I'm just double checking here quick too. Okay, another new day. And I was kind of mulling over in my head on what I wanted to do as far as the drop on the rear and if I wanted to do an offset.
Hello, I'm getting the paint that was on the traction bars sanded off here quick, and that way I can paint and prime them and whatnot.
Hello, I'm just figuring I'd give a heads up that this video is actually quite long. I just didn't really see a point in doing this clip and then doing the painting by itself, because I mean, this was like 8 minutes, I think, or something like that. I actually don't know what it ends up being total overall. I think the whole video is like 24 minutes long or something like that. But I don't know, it didn't seem, I don't know, it felt bad to actually just wait and hold off on the video until after Christmas, because I mean, if it was just me sanding, I would have had that up and out before Christmas and before I left for that time. And I don't know, it just kind of, didn't feel quite right to me. So I just figured I'd give you a heads up before we got, sitting there chilling. This is very exciting to get these things finally finished up. Now I can throw them onto my truck.
battery's getting low at like, it was at 15 Pro, it's just hit 5%. And I want to finish this up. Oh shoot. Okay.
Man, at this point, I was pretty much just trying to go non-stop just so I could get the sanding done for just like the 120 and 200 or something like that, 220 and 100 and 220.
Putting the gloves on backwards, so I got clean palm again. Tripping all over stuff here. And I will be back. I'm going to find my regular charger so I can use my actual cable. And yeah. Hello. It's been a couple days since I did the sanding on these. Christmas happened, and on the way home from my mom's place for Christmas, my partner's headlights, both of the low beams died. So the other day I was switching out his headlamps and a whole bunch of fuses, and then I went in with my little fine wire brush and kind of cleaned around so that it got rid of the corrosion and stuff like that. So then yesterday I kind of set this little painting area up and got these traction bars hung up on some the old wire that I pulled out of the ceiling for the when I put in the new light in the kitchen. And yeah, so I've got them pretty much ready here, and I'm about to start hitting them with some primer, and then I'll be painting them with the color shift afterwards. I did all the room building and to jigger in to get everything lit up and whatnot off camera, because there's no point. It was just, boring, whatever kind of work. So here we go. I should say that this blue color shift that I'm going to be using requires a black base coat, and I just got some flat black primer, and then I've got an acrylic crystal clear enamel, not acrylic, to put over it to keep it from getting damaged from like gravel and rock chips and shit and stuff like that.
I had hung up the traction bars from the ceiling with some electrical wire that I had removed when I installed the light in the kitchen, and it was just extra and it was really old, so I wasn't going to use it for anything other than just trash. So the ends where the heim joints are, or they would go in, there's bolts in there with Gorilla tape in there, and that kept it from like sliding in and out and whatnot. And there's just some wire wrapped around the head of the bolt, or in between the head and the bolt, and you know, the threading for the heim joint. So it would just spin around on a circle, and on the other end, like the shackle ends, there was a dowel put or going through it, and I wrapped some electrical wire around the ends of each end of the dowel, and then there's little like kind of a loop going up, and I have some screws on the ends to keep the wire from sliding off. So I could just like take the wire and start rotating it towards the back, and then use the screws on the dowel to kind of just flip the thing over like 180 degrees, or else I could pull it side to side to get like places I was having an issue with getting the paint on.
I'm gonna do a little itty bitty wet sand on this quick here.
Say it again afterwards, and I'm truly, truly lucky that I ended up getting this, or when I did have the thing fall, it didn't fall near the end when everything was all sticky, or like would it have so much more stuff to get coated onto. It was just literally like the primer, and then I got half of a thing with color shift paint, which I think I'm switching to the color shift here in a moment, but sounds so funny when I'm just like shaking the rattle can around when it's got that going on in it. Just kind of spraying off everything that I have left in the can, you know, trying to get the last little bit of that sheen out of there. Yeah. Yeah, that absolutely sucked. And I cursed a little bit right there. I had to delete that one out. I actually got pretty lucky, but I had just started painting the color shift blue stuff right before this thing had dropped. I set it aside for a little tiny bit because it kind of pissed me off, and I was just figured I would focus on the one that was still good at that point in time. And I mean, it didn't take very long to get enough coats on the single one that I just didn't want to keep on putting more paint onto it. So I checked out the one that dropped on the ground, and it had some hair and dust, like cat hair and dust covering it. But I was able to just wet sand right over it again. It just hadn't even started getting like really tacky or anything yet, so I just did that with that one, and went back down to the primer level, which, I mean, yeah, I had just started, so. But then I just kind of focused on that one more while I was finishing up, and I still got the one that I'd gotten more paint on, but I pretty much like leveled them out till they looked the same, and then I split the can between the two of them. I had another can here, but it looked nice enough as it was, and I mean, I don't think I would have really gotten too much more of a color change, noticeable color change out of it had I done really that much more. Maybe a little bit more like depth of color or whatever. But yeah. I mean, we are getting close to finished up here. And then I just got a little tiny bit of welding and I'm good to go. I could try them out. I'm finishing up with the crystal clear, crystal clear gloss enamel right now. It's just such a weird word for me to say. It's also weird because I've got, there we go, having that extra, having the bust inside of my head echoing back at like a little tiny like millisecond reaction on it. That was kind of annoying. I believe, yeah, and every time I look at them, I'm just, that whole night I'd go back in and peek in the door and just be like, oh, that's awesome. I have to say, I'm definitely liking this new editor program that I've been using, or that I was using for this one. It's making, I don't know, there's so much more to it than what I had been using, so I was testing out the audio function to like add in audio through this, because otherwise before I'd end up recording it on like the voice recorder app and then just send over files for that and then place them in where I needed them. And this works out a lot better because if I don't like it, I could just cut it and then go back over again. This is just a lot more streamlined, and that looks really nice. I like it.
Oh, I'm super excited about finally having the time to finish up the traction bars, and also about how the color shift paint turned out on them. I was kind of blown away while I was doing it. I was like, oh, this is looking nicer and nicer. And man, I can't believe that when the traction bar fell down, my heart just sank. And I was like, well, there, now I'm gonna have to go do this one like all over again. I'm gonna have to strip it all down. And luckily I was able to, since I had just wet sanded it from the primer, I was able to just go with some sandpaper quick, with some of the wet dry sandpaper, it was still wet, and just go over it real fast and got all the cat hair and dust and stuff that was on there off. So that was I just didn't want to look at it at first. I was just like, oh my god, like, no. But it all worked out, and they turned out looking really nice. So I gotta head out to my mom's, where I have access to, you know, extra garage stall there, and workshop kind of thing. And then, yeah, I'll make a video on the install on that. Yeah, it should be pretty simple, unless it's just absolutely freezing cold again, which it was like, I don't know, it was like 30 below, like well below zero. There was over a week that we didn't have anything above zero. And I couldn't do any of the sanding or spray painting when I couldn't open up windows or anything like that and vent out some of the stuff outside with some fans and stuff. So I got kitty cats here. I don't want them to get all sick from me spray painting and doing stuff like that. So anyways, thanks for watching. If you like this kind of content, or I mean, I build things, I fix things, I do stuff to my truck, whatever, I would appreciate a subscribe. And I mean, I don't know, I plan on just continuing to kind of document what I do. And I mean, what I've been doing for the last few years anyways to make a living is just being a handyman. So that's kind of just where I'm at. So I fix things for people, or build things, or maintain things, you know. So I got stuff to do, but anyways, I appreciate the views and whatnot, and I mean, it makes it more kind of rewarding to see, you know, at least people are watching this stuff and whatnot, and instead of me just being a crazy person doing something to keep myself busy during the winter time. But I hope you have a great day, and yeah, till the next time.